Hey, it's Maximo and welcome to Maximo's Travels. Today is another big travel day. We leave from Victoria, Vancouver Island and catch 2 buses and a ferry to travel to Vancouver. There, we take the bus all the way to the Central Pacific Station and get caught in a monumental traffic jam along the way. We check into our AIRBNB apartment and then explore the Mount Pleasant area of Vancouver. First, we go to a brewery and then we have an absolutely fantastic Afghan meal at Main Street, Mount Pleasant. Join me. Today was another travel day. Well, not a full travel day, a half travel day. We were going to travel from Victoria on Vancouver Island to the city of Vancouver on the mainland. The distance was around 120 kilometres and the journey was to take around about 4 hours. We started off at Victoria Bus Depot in downtown Victoria, just near the harbour front. We selected the BC Ferries Connector because one ticket got you 3 buses and the ferry ride all the way from Victoria to the Vancouver bus terminal. Return tickets cost 229 Canadian dollars. Not cheap, but considering it was an all-in-one ticket, the convenience of having a point-to-point journey made it well worth it. I'll leave a link to their ticketing website in the description. The bus ride out to the Schwartz Bay ferry terminal and the embarkation onto the ferry was efficient and uneventful. The bus and all the cars boarded the ferry with usual efficiency and we settled in for the 1 hour and 35-minute ferry ride. It was late morning and not quite time for lunch, so we decided to go to the upper deck and have a coffee and a bite to eat at the coffee shop. There weren't many people here. I think most of the people were in the restaurant cafeteria on the lower deck. Joe had a croissant and I had some gluten-free biscuits. We had explored the ship on our previous voyage and this time it was much gloomier and overcast, so we were happy just to sit down and watch the world go by. Everything was fine up until we left the ferry. It all turned pear-shaped fairly quickly. For one, there were some diseased people sitting immediately behind us. They were both coughing up a lung and we're pretty sure this is where we both caught COVID. The second thing that happened was we were stuck in a monumental traffic jam. The main freeway from the ferry terminal to the city was closed because of an accident. This meant that we'd missed our bus that was supposed to take us from the ferry terminal to the bus terminal. We had to get on the bigger bus and detour via the international airport and the city before we got to the bus depot. This trip was about 2 hours, at least an hour and a half more than it should have taken. We slowly made our way to Vancouver International Airport again. This is the second time we'd been to this airport without actually flying out from it. We stopped here to drop some passengers off that had international connections and we continued on to the city of Vancouver. We eventually pulled into what looked like an industrial complex, but was the BC Ferries Connector Terminal bus station. It was located just behind the Pacific Central main train station, and this is only 100 or so metres from the nearest metro station. And the reason we chose this base station was that it was only less than a kilometre or a 14-minute walk from our Airbnb accommodation on East 2nd Avenue. So we got off the bus and entered the Pacific Central Station that dates back to 1917. We had a bit of a wander around this charming old building before making our way outside and walking towards our Airbnb accommodation. I only took a few steps outside the building and was hit with a wave of unease and discomfort, fear for my safety. This is where we saw the first of our fentanyl zombies. Unfortunately, the feeling of dread and unease didn't leave us until we left Vancouver. We were staying on East 2nd Avenue. This is located just outside the downtown Vancouver area, and this is about 2.5 kilometres or 40 minutes away from the centre of Vancouver's downtown. This area was called Mount Pleasant. It was a blend of residential buildings as well as light commercial buildings. We chose an Airbnb here because the cost was around half of what it would have cost us for a hotel room in downtown Vancouver. And whilst we did experience what it was like to live in the inner city of Vancouver, in basically a urban or suburban area, we didn't get the convenience of being in downtown. I think the whole vibe and experience was quite different if we would have stayed in a big apartment or hotel in the downtown area. We were staying on the second floor of a fairly funky and modern apartment. There was an abundance of natural light, and the apartment was very well appointed with comfortable furniture. It even had a fireplace, which we did use because it did get quite cold later in our stay. We stayed here for 4 nights. The place had an air conditioning unit that we did use because it was hot on occasions, as well as a washing machine and dryer. We took the opportunity to do a load of washing. The place even had a massage chair, which we did use at the end of a couple of days of walking around the streets of Vancouver. A big king-size bed was comfortable, and there was plenty of storage space as well. The fireplace was really great. Unfortunately, both Joe and myself did get COVID while we were here. It was good just to be rugged up in front of the fire while we were sweating out our illness. In terms of the bathroom, it was old style, small, but clean and adequate. Overall, not too bad. The place was right on the main road, and it was a little bit noisy. But apart from that, it was a perfect stay in a very comfortable Airbnb apartment. We dropped off our bags, freshened up, and were eager to explore the Mount Pleasant area. Our first stop was the Main Street Brewing Co. This is located about 500 metres and just a few minutes walk from our Airbnb. Very nice IPA from the Main Street Brewing Co.
Yes, with the name on the glass.
Indeed. Campai.
Cheers.
Unfortunately, the Main Street Brewing Co. kitchen was closed for an event, so we hunted around for a place to have dinner. It wasn't far away. It was only 290 metres away, or a 4-minute walk. It was called Zarak Afgan Kitchen. We were lucky to get a seat outside in the delightful late afternoon sun. Afghan restaurant. Should be interesting. Lamb shank. That is the cauliflower curry. And that is the Afghan palau with lamb. The food at Zarak was absolutely unbelievably good. I would highly recommend it. It wasn't that cheap. It was around about 120 Canadian dollars, including a tip. I highly recommend coming here. We finished our meal and headed back the couple of 100 metres to the Airbnb that we were staying at, ready for another day's exploring of Vancouver the next day. I do hope you liked this video. If so, please hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that notify bell so you'll never miss another upcoming video. If you'd like to support my channel, please consider buying me a coffee or smashing that super thanks button. Until our next adventure from Vancouver, you take care and bye now.